Hello, today is Friday, September 25th, and this is another episode of Friday 5 at 5 with Denver Public Library. My name is Lainey. I'm a librarian at DPL's downtown central location, and in 15 minutes or less, we'll have you up to speed on 5 new titles we can't wait for you to read or listen to. Introducing Social Distancing, a small online publication of art, writing, and other creative works by the Denver community that reflects our lives in the time of COVID-19. We at DPL believe there is power in taking a moment to meditate on the weight of the times in which we find ourselves, and that creative expression helps us stay connected to ourselves and to each other. View our very first issue, made up of work from DPL's own staff, and learn how to submit to issue 2, which will showcase work from you, the DPL community, at the link below. And now on to this month's lineup. At number 1, we have Ties That Tether by Jane Igaro. Coming soon to Overdrive in ebook and e-audio formats. Book also coming soon. What does love look like after immigration? Debut novelist Igaro tackles this question in this romantic comedy with a young Nigerian-Canadian woman at its helm. Azere is caught between a promise she made her father, that she would marry a fellow Edo, even after relocating to Toronto, and a chance at something good with a decidedly white Canadian, Raphael, with whom she shares a burgeoning office romance. Raphael is an exciting departure from the string of dissatisfying setups Azare's mother has produced for her since immigrating 13 years ago. But with her premise in mind, Azare knows their one night of passion is really all she can quote-unquote commit to, until some unplanned for consequences muddy the waters. Says Booklist, with writing that marries genuine and infectious emotion with witty humor, Igaro has created an endearing love story about family, culture, and identity. Give His Only Wife by Peace Adzo-Madi, another September release, or Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams a try if you want more on navigating matchmaking and interracial relationships. At number 2, we have Cant Even, How Millennials Became the Burnout Generation by Anne Helen Peterson. On Overdrive as an ebook, print book also available. It's no secret. Millennials, long derided as the participation trophy generation, get a bad rap. But, as Publishers Weekly puts it, though older generations mischaracterize America's largest demographic group as lazy and selfish, millennials are actually working multiple jobs to pay bills in the modern gig economy as they watch the American dream slip away. An economy, of course, that has taken another all-too-recent nosedive. Peterson, the writer behind Substack's Culture Study newsletter, wrote a viral article on this mischaracterization of millennials for BuzzFeed back in January 2019, and Cant Even drives its point home. She weaves together personal reflections, profiles of other millennials, and a plethora of demographic information to address issues such as parenting, social media, college debt, and healthcare. And fear not, no color blindness here. Peterson takes care to hone in on race-related factors as well. Read this one with Trick Mirror, Reflections on Self-Delusion by Gia Tolentino, and Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. The Awkward Black Man by Walter Mosley is our third title today. Print book available, ebook available, and e-audio on order on Overdrive. Mosley's been around the block once or twice. He's even receiving an honorary National Book Award this year for his outstanding body of work, from sci-fi to erotica to mystery. We all know, or at least know of, Easy Rawlins, his much-loved private detective protagonist, who first appeared in 1990's Devil in a Blue Dress, and who was played by none other than Denzel Washington in the film adaptation 5 years later. Mosley takes a step away from hard-boiled crime fiction in this collection of 17 short stories, however, showcasing a range of black male heroes. There is, for instance, Rufus Combs, the mailroom messenger in Pet Fly, who connects more easily with household pests than he does with the women who work in his building. There is Michael Trey in Between Storms, who locks himself in his New York City apartment after being traumatized by Hurricane Laura, and who finds himself taken by the outside world as a prophet, not of doom, but perhaps of peace. And the good news is, a man's insecurity about his weight gives way to a serious illness and the intense loneliness that accompanies it. Then there's the short, shy surgeon in Cut, 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 who turns out to be something like a mad scientist out of an H.G. Wells book, and a black Texas cowboy called to action in Showdown on the Hudson. In The Awkward Black Man, Mosley offers readers portraits of those black men who don't often make it into the stories we collectively tell. For more short fiction in this vein, check out Heads of the Colored People by Nafissa Thompson Spires and A Lucky Man by Jamel Brinkley. Next, we have The Big Door Prize by M.O. Walsh. Print book available, ebook and e-audio on Overdrive. Walsh made waves back in 2015 with My Sunshine Away, and this sophomore effort, which borrows its title from a John Prine song, is bound to hit readers' hearts in the same spots. For a quick cheek swab and the price of a jug of milk, the mysterious dynamics machine that appeared in Deerfield, Louisiana residents' local grocery will inform a person of their true life's calling. Cowboy, magician, whistler, teacher, lover, royalty. These are the sorts of fantastical readings the dynamics starts spouting for these eccentric small-town Southerners, and the results are mixed. Some quit their jobs or their usual wardrobes. Some may quit their marriages. But changing fates collide in that of 16-year-old Jacob, whose brother's drunk driving death sets off a ripple of compounding misfortune. This is quirky Southern charm mixed with genuine human insight in true Fanny Flagg style. A feel-good read with a sweetly supernatural twist, in line with Katerina Bivald's Welcome to the Pineaway Motel and Cabins, and Chloe Benjamin's The Immortalists. At number 5 this time, Daddy by Emma Cline. Print book available, ebook and e-audio formats on Overdrive. Back to stories for our last selection, this time from the best-selling author of 2016's The Girls. An absentee father collects his son from boarding school after a shocking act of violence. A nanny to a celebrity family hides out in Laurel Canyon in the aftermath of a tabloid scandal. A young woman sells her underwear to strangers. A notorious guest arrives at a placid, not quite rehab in the Southwest. These are 10 stories about borders and liminalities, the blood that bleeds through into the banal, the intricacies of power, the tendency of transition to imbalance, the mixing of supposed truth and fiction. Interestingly, in many, Cline examines the inner lives of disappointed older men. Says O Magazine, this is a hair-raising collection of short fiction that at once discomfits and titillates, delineating the various ways women and men wrestle with the male gaze. Cline also takes a very steady view of the short story form. Nothing experimental per se here. Rather, we're presented with only the most classic short story dynamic. This book will not disappoint Cline's fans. For more suggestive and unsettling short fiction, try Cat Person and Other Stories by Kristen Rupenian, or Rag by Maurice Meyer. Plus, in case you missed it, check out Postcolonial Love Poem by Natalie Diaz. Available on Overdrive as an ebook, print book also available. This is Diaz's second poetry collection after 2012's much-lauded My Brother Was an Aztec. Mojave and an enrolled member of the Gila River Indian community, Diaz marvels at the indigenous body, both her own and those of her lovers and ancestors, living, breathing proof of indigenous resilience and continuation in a society that persists in denying it. I'll read a sample of her work right now. This is They Don't Love You Like I Love You, included in Postcolonial Love Poem. They don't love you like I love you. My mother said this to me long before Beyonce lifted the lyrics from the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And what my mother meant by Don't Stray was that she knew all about it. The way it feels to need someone to love you. Someone not your kind. Someone white. Someone, some many, who live because so many of mine have not. And further, live on top of those of ours who don't. All say, say, say. All say, say, say. What is the United States if not a clot of clouds, if not spilled milk or blood, if not the place we once were in the millions? America is maps. Maps are ghosts, white and layered with people and places I see through. My mother has always known best, knew that I'd been begging for them, to lay my face against their white laps, to be held in something more than the loud light of their projectors, of themselves they flicker, sepia or blue, all over my body. All this time, I thought my mother said wait, as in give them a little more time to know your worth, when really she said wait, meaning heft, preparing me for the yoke of myself, the beast of my country's burdens, which is less worse than my country's plow. Yes, when my mother said, they don't love you like I love you, she meant, Natalie, that doesn't mean you aren't good. If you want more from queer Indigenous poets, check out Eyes Bottled Dark with a Mouthful of Flowers by Jake Skeets, or the latest from Billy Ray Belcourt, A History of My Brief Body. And that's it for September. Thanks for tuning in to Denver Public Library's Friday 5 at 5. Check out or place a hold on these titles and a whole lot more right now at denverlibrary.org/downloads, link below. And be sure to tune in next month for a whole new batch of recommended reads.